And we welcome you to this Watchalong special edition of Night Shift. I'm Eric Lopez alongside Bryson Turner. We're about 5 minutes, maybe 6-7 minutes away from first pitch. UCF Softball taking on Michigan in the opening game of the Austin Regional. That'll be followed by Texas and Eastern Illinois. We're not going to be streaming that, watch-alonging that one. All right, for those that might be new to this, it's really simple. We're not going to show you the game here. You're going to have to watch the game on your ESPN places, either on linear. The game's on ESPN2. If you do not have cable, just go to your ESPN app to watch the game. But I will be offering commentary and some thoughts. Bryson will be reading as well some of your comments and questions. Feel free to ask those during the game. We may or may not have guests, depending on how this goes. And then we'll just go from there, and we'll see how this goes. Ironically enough, Bryson, I think the last time you and I were communicating, chatting together for a UCF regional game was against Michigan in 2022. We were in the same building in Orlando when the Knights won the regional and beat Michigan. And there's still a couple of players on each roster from that, believe it or not, including the Michigan starting pitcher. But hey, this is fun. We get to talk postseason softball and postseason UCF, which are not easy these days. But how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm very excited for this ball game. I think one of the reasons why they're even matched up in the same regional in the first place is because of that storyline value from the 2022 NCAA tournament in Orlando. And I think that from both sides of this, there's plenty of storylines to go into with this game. Of course, you have the Michigan side, who with this opponent specifically is the one who retired their beloved head coach after that 2022 Orlando regional. Her longtime associate head coach took over the head coaching job, Bonnie Thole, and now she gets a chance to go up against the Knights herself, alongside a few Michigan players that I believe were also on the same roster at the time of that game. I'm sure they would definitely love to get a chance to even the score with UCF in terms of NCAA tournament games.
No doubt. We have starting lineups. UCF will be the designated home team for this game. So we'll start with the UCF lineup. Aubrey Evans will be the lead off, play shortstop. Sierra Humphreys will be at third base, will bat second, with Stormy Kotzelnick at right field to hit third. Ashley Griffin at first base will hit cleanup. Izzy Mertez will be the DP and hit fifth, with Beth Damon hitting sixth. Samantha Ray at left field will hit seventh, with Coco Jaimes getting the start at second base, batting eighth. Madison Simon at center field will hit ninth for the Knights, again with Isabella Vega, the freshman phenom, getting the ball for the Knights here in the circle. For Michigan, their lineup will be as follows. Indiana Langford will be the second baseman leading off for Michigan. Jessica Conway at center field will bat second. Lauren Putz, another freshman phenom herself, at DP will hit third. Ella Stevenson at right field will hit cleanup. Lily Valement will catch and hit fifth. Ellie Seiler will be playing left field for the Wolverines and batting sixth. Maddie Erickson at third base will hit seventh. Maddie Ramey at first base will hit eighth, with Avery Fatucci at shortstop to hit ninth for the Wolverines, with Lauren Durkowski, the Big Ten MVP from the Big Ten tournament, two-time Big Ten MVP, will pitch for the Wolverines. Michigan comes in red hot. They won the Big Ten tournament for the second year in a row. They knocked off UCLA in the Big Ten title game and really have played in that Big Ten tournament like I think a lot of people thought, myself included, would play during the season. I thought they would be a Big Ten title contender and a host possibility. They underachieved during the regular season, but really turned it on in the Big Ten tournament and won the tournament. It's a very potent offense, and Bonnie Toll, of course, the head coach. So it should be a good one here, Bryson. It's probably arguably the best matchup on this Friday afternoon into the Friday evening. Again, it's a double elimination format. The winner of this game will advance to the winner's bracket game tomorrow. The loser drops to the loser's bracket game tomorrow, versus depending on the result of Texas and Eastern Illinois. They're finally ending the golf nonsense. No disrespect, Bryson. And when I mean nonsense, it's the alternate PGA broadcast is the way I would describe it. And now they're going to the UCF Michigan broadcast here on ESPN2. Give me your thoughts, Bryson. Here, we're moments away.
Well, this is going to be a very important game, I think, because as we've talked about on the most recent episode of the Night Shift podcast, this is a very tough regional to go through. Even the mid-major conference champion in Eastern Illinois is a very scrappy team. Nothing in this regional is going to be a given, so the more cushion that you'll be able to give yourself, the better. And whoever wins this game today will end up providing themselves with that cushion.
Right now, they're doing the top storylines of the NCAA tournament. Eric Freed and Madison Shipman is your broadcast team for the Austin Regional as they are going through all the storylines here. Bryson will be handling the social media stuff, by the way.
So, I do believe you've said this is ESPN's number 3 announcer pairing for softball, right?
Yeah. I mean, Beth Mowins, Michelle Smith, and Jessica Mendoza is regarded as the number 1 team. They're out in Lubbock. Amanda Scarborough is their number 2 analyst. She's in Baton Rouge. And then, you got Madison Shipman and Eric Freed here as your number 3. Yeah, so it's a strong crew. It's a great crew. I like this crew. I've met this crew. They've done the Big 12 championship the last couple of years. So I think UCF will be taken care of from a national broadcast standpoint. Shipman has seen UCF. Obviously, he's from Clearwater. And so, it should be a pretty good broadcast from that standpoint. By the way, folks, just for the record, if I step out, it's because I have to attend some family member matters. So Bryson will still be on the stream and taking over from time to time as well. And then we'll stay on throughout. As soon as the game ends, we will hopefully be covering a post-game. Bryson, you have not received anything from a post-game standpoint, correct?
I do not believe I have, no.
All right, good. That makes you and I both. That makes you and I both. They're showing the Knights right now with Felton and Vega both warming up with Shannon Sale, the assistant coach, in the middle. And look, I think Vega's going to start this game, Bryson, but I would not be surprised if you see both Vega and Felton split this game like they did early in the year. I think those two will carry this team as far as this postseason is concerned. And it's just a matter of we'll see how the game goes. I think they'll be played out, but should be a lot of fun. Hope to and again, make sure you all send out your questions and comments throughout the game. And as they go to commercial break, I forgot it's the regionals, Bryson. There's a lot of commercials in regionals. How could I forget? I missed those lengthy 2-3 minute commercials.
Well, we're also on linear television, Eric. So if this were a ESPN Plus exclusive, I imagine we would probably be interrupted by less ads.
Very true. You're not wrong. You're not definitely wrong on that front. So we'll see what happens. Just kind of first a historic. This is the first regional that UCF is playing outside of the state of Florida. It's their 12th appearance overall. Out of all places, Austin, Texas will be the place there. Texas is the national number 6 seed in that regional. And commercial break going on here. Couple of key players to watch. I think it'll be interesting early, Bryson. How does the Knights come out in this game? Are they loose? Are they nervous? Remember, you look at this lineup. In particular, a Mertez, a Damon, Jaimes. This is their first ever regional. How do they look? Come out. And then I think the veterans, the Evanses and the Unfrees that have played in regionals, they kind of have to lead early on, in my opinion, there. By the way, they're showing the temperature. It's over 100 degrees. It's according to the temperatures there in Austin, Texas. I guess it's a hot one there in Austin, Texas, Bryson. Just like it was in Orlando, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it was. I will point out that is probably a thermometer taken at field level. So field level, I will double check right now what the overall weather in Austin.
Yeah.
It says here, right? Okay, it says the temperature right now is 91 degrees in Austin, Texas, though they have a humidity of 53% right now. So
how would you compare that to the Orlando regional in 22?
I think I think the conditions would be pretty similar. I think actually,
What
I think
happened to
with
you in that regional, Bryson?
oh, you love it when I tell this story, don't you? So
It's a legendary story.
So I was sitting outside of the press box, just in front of it, up in front of you, the top row from that standpoint. I believe you were with me for that one. And as it turned out, when I got home, I noticed that I had registered a sunburn so bad on my forehead that I ended up registering a fever after everything was all said and done. So I guess you can say that the Knights were playing it so close that it made me sick. So hopefully they won't have to do that today. But given the escapades this team has gone on this season, it would not surprise me. At least it won't be heat-induced sickness this time around, as we are watching along from our homes and not in those conditions in Austin. Though definitely hope that everybody there is staying hydrated and air conditioned when possible.
What's funny is knowing that facility. From what people have told me, had I been out there, I'd probably be outside. There's not a lot of room inside. So Isabella Vega finishing up her warm-ups. Knights, and they're all whites with the gold numbers. Michigan, and they're all blue.
Oh man, hopefully that won't be white on gold from a uniform standpoint is always a little bit of annoying from an observer standpoint, because it's harder to determine numbers from afar. Hopefully we won't have trouble doing that. At least doing that, we'll definitely have to keep track on stat broadcasts. That'll definitely help as well.
You are the stat broadcast expert there. All right. I'm probably will be ahead of Bryson because I'm watching this from my linear television. So, but that's okay. You'll follow along here, folks. Glad you're joining us. Hopefully you join as the audience. First pitch is low for a ball. We're underway. To Indiana Langford, the second baseman for the Wolverines, junior out of California, first team All Big Ten performer, hit 409 on the year. Slap hitter, sets the tone for the Wolverines as Vega misses outside 2-0. You got to wonder what's it like for Isa. Is she a little nervous or not? I'm thinking in my head, Bryson, Mackenzie Audis is the last freshman to start a regional game for UCF, an opening regional game. That was in 2012 in Gainesville, where she took on South Florida. And Isa has had a lot of similarities to Mackenzie Audis as that ball was fouled off. So the count is 2-1. But what a year for Isabella Vega. It's
Absolutely.
Mark Virgil. Yes, what's up, Mark? Good to see you. Pass this along to your buddies there. While he's a diehard Sooner fan, but also likes UCF.
Isabella Vega is definitely, I would argue, the player of this softball team this season. I believe she was just named all-region first team by the NFCA, and she really anchors this starting rotation. Like Sarah Willis, I believe is still a part of this staff as a graduate assistant, and I honestly feel like that Vega has really taken up Willis's role from a pitching staff standpoint this season as Michigan gets on base first with a walk.
Yeah, Langford walked there 5 pitches, so Langford gets on with the dangerous Jessica Conway will come to the plate. For the Wolverines, Conway has good power. A sophomore out of Cal, first team All Big Ten performer, steps in. Or Janisa Conway, I should say. And Vega a little wild early here, missing ball 1, and I bet Damon's going to come over to talk. Conway with 17 homers, 49 RBIs, first team All Great Lakes region. For the sophomore Conway, Cindy Ball Malone's going to come in. What do you think? A little bit of nerves early here, perhaps, for Isa.
I would imagine so. She's still a redshirt freshman, so this is something that she hasn't experienced before, and this is how you said, the seniors and the people who have been in a regional before will be very important. Hopefully, they imparted some very good advice for her to help her, stay in the matchup right there. The early goings of this UCF softball team has been really telling of how the game is normally going to go, whether you're going to need a comeback or if UCF is able to actually get ahead in that one. Usually you can't really count them out in any situation, but that being said, the less pressure you can put yourselves under at the end of the game, the better.
Conway hits a fly ball to right. Kotzelnick is under it, makes the catch for the first out of the ball game. As Conway is retired, Langford stays at first base with 1 out. That's a big out. This Michigan offense has a lot of power. Of course, Amanda Chittister, an Olympian on the last Summer Olympics, is the hitting coach for the Wolverines, former Michigan great. She got inducted into the Michigan Hall of Honor last year. Here's Lauren Putz, freshman, top 25 finalist. Lines it to second, and the catch is made by Coco Jimenez. And Putz retired on 1 pitch, 2 gone here in the first inning. And folks, if you're new to softball, it tends to move a little quickly like that. So we got 2 outs. And that'll bring Ella Stevenson, the right fielder, to the right-handed hitter, to step in. Takes the ball. Runner goes, and Langford, the throw to second is in time, and she's out. Langford is thrown out by Beth Damon to end the inning, and the Knights defense coming through. Damon throwing out Langford to end the top of the first on a perfect throw. The tag made by Aubrey Evans, and that ends the first inning. Langford trying to make a case for obstruction, but she's not even close to that. That was an easy pitch and throw, and good start there. So after a shaky start, Vega gets the fly out, a line out, and then the throw out by Beth Damon.
Aubrey Evans really made that catch look absolutely effortless. Like her momentum was perfect. I mean, it looked like she made that look easy.
All right, we can all breathe here a little bit. First inning, top of the first. We'll head to the bottom of the first inning here. Those score, Knights and the Wolverines. It'll be, once again, Aubrey Evans will lead it off, followed by Sierra Humphreys and Stormy Kotzelnick, with Ashley Griffin at cleanup, Izzy Mertez at DP, Beth Damon at catching, Samantha Ray at left field, Coco Jimenez at second base, Maddie Simon at center field, and for this Knights offense. And this is what I'm used to having commercial breaks during my broadcast. We do not have breaks here. We're just going to keep talking. That's okay.
Yes.
We'll talk about other UCF stuff as this game develops or later on. Bryson is going to be heading over to baseball after this as they try to save their season up against Baylor at home. And we'll get into all that stuff in a little while later there. But what are you looking forward to here to seeing offensively from the Knights, Bryson?
They got to get on the board. They got to get on the board early, Eric. I think that's the big thing that we need to do, is because when we're able, the Knights have an easier time when they're the ones getting on the board first. They can come back, but I think for all of our sanities, it would be nice if they got some runs right here.
Well, that was the thing they did in the Big 12 championships, is they got off to good starts in both games. So we'll see. That was a really good positive from that standpoint, and we'll see if they could do that. Of course, Izzy Mertez, 16 doubles on the year, 2 away. Something to keep track this weekend. She's 2 away from Aubrey Evans' school record in 2023 of 18 doubles. And so we'll see if she gets to that point, and we'll go from there. Of course, Lauren Dukowski came in relief, Bryson, in that Orlando Regional as a young freshman when they had Alex Duracco and Megan Bobain, and when they just couldn't find the strike zone against UCF on that regional Sunday. And so,
absolutely, that was an amazing regional to bear witness to live. It's awesome that we actually get a chance to see a rematch of that regional here. It'll be interesting to see how Lauren Dukowski has evolved over her collegiate career, similar to how we've seen Caitlin Felton evolve over her career since that 2022 Orlando regional.
First pitch from Dukowski to Evans is a strike, and we're underway at the bottom of the first here with Aubrey Evans. A third-team all-region, hitting .321 with a career-high 10 home runs, 32 RBIs for the second-team all-Big 12 performer. And she hits one to left. It's carrying. It's off the wall. And Evans will go into second with a stand-up double to start the Knights' first inning.
And that is why you have Aubrey Evans at the leadoff position right there. First at bat, and she nearly hits it out of the park. That's how you get runs on the board quickly. And I think Coach Ball Malone putting her at the top of the lineup, I think that's what she was going for when she made that decision.
Kind of changed the offense, didn't it, Bryson? When she got moved to that leadoff spot, hits well out of that spot, and it's really changed the offense. They kind of scuffled for the first half of the year, and boy, she's at second base. First pitch strike to Sierra Humphreys, the sophomore out of Corona, California, all Big 12 performer, hitting .357, 4 homers, 19 RBIs on the season.
Aubrey Evans has really developed into a power hitter this season, hasn't she, Eric?
That's the part that has surprised me a little bit. I was not anticipating that from her. I thought she was more of a line drive hitter, but yeah, you're right. She's developed hitting double-digit home runs. Humphreys down in the count here, 0-2 against Durkowski. Hits a high rise ball to the right side. Nice play made by Langford, the second baseman, to throw out Humphreys, but that's a productive out as Aubrey Evans advances to third base. So nice job by Sierra Humphreys. Was down 0-2 in the count, chased a rise ball there, but was able to hit it to the right side, and that's where you want to hit it and to advance the runner. So that's a quality at bat there. Runner at third, 1 out now for Stormy Kotzelnick, the senior, will step in.
Pass the bat, just like we've heard Coach Ball Malone and every player say, pass the bat, pass the bat.
So now Kotzelnick, the senior, of course, transferred a year ago from Louisiana, played last year, and then this year here as a Knight. Oh, nice changeup there by Durkowski to get ahead 0-2. So 0-2 the count. And the 0-2 fouled off. So Kotzelnick, 286 on the year, homer and 22 RBIs. O2 pitch to Stormy from Durkowski. Up high for a ball. 1-2. When this man won the Peace Prize, the Nobel chairman didn't expect gratitude from the Polish authorities. You show the dugout there, Bryce. They love to show the dugout. It's a very, very softball producer move to do, showing the dugout in between pitches.
Well, it helps when the dugouts are very animated, and UCF's dugout is quite the animated one. Youthful energy there.
That's a good word, youthful. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. To Stormy Kotzelnick, who lines it into left center. The catch is made by Conway, but that's deep enough to drive in Aubrey Evans, who tags from third and scores. And the Knights get off to a good start, take a 1-0 lead on the sac fly by Stormy Kotzelnick, driving in Aubrey Evans.
Pretty good catch by the Michigan center fielder right there. Really had to reach out a little bit to get that one.
Made it happen. Yeah, that's a good play because that ball was kind of getting away from Conway. If that slices away, that's a double. But nonetheless, Knights get a run. And then here's a ground ball to short. The throw to first is in time to retire Ashley Griffin as the play is made by Avery, the shortstop for the Wolverines, to retire the side. But the Knights get a run on a hit and don't strand a runner and take a 1-0 lead over Michigan through 1 here in the Austin Regional.
I think the Knights accomplished what they wanted to accomplish in this one. They needed to get out ahead early, and that's what they did. It's only a run, but it's certainly better than nothing.
We got Mark asking about a couple of dinner and breakfast recommendations for Orlando, not nationwide chains, just the local chain. Bryson, you have any thoughts there?
The local chain. I don't know if I would be the one to ask about that one because of my food allergies. It's really hard for me to eat out a lot of the time, but
people like the Cracker Barrel, right?
Yes, but Cracker Barrel isn't necessarily that's a nationwide chain though, if I remember right.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or maybe it's regional. Mark, are regional chains okay? that could certainly be something. It might not be local, but depending on where you're coming from, regional chains could be maybe those would count. Like I've never been to In-N-Out before because In-N-Out is just not here in Florida.
That's correct. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a local. I'm not really big on the local scene here that jumps out at me. That would be, boy, you got to go get that. I mean, what about Huey Magoo's is right near the campus at UCF. A lot of athletes love the Huey Magoo's with the chicken tenders. If you're into that, that would be one.
That is quite good. The broadcast is back. They're currently flashing back to some of the Michigan Wolverines' iconic moments in the Women's College World Series.
There you go. Mark said regional good or just a one-off restaurant like a neighborhood. Huey Magoo's is good. I like Huey Magoo's. If you like chicken tenders, that's not bad. Zaxby's. I don't think you have Zaxby's in Oklahoma. If you do, then that doesn't count. But I know Zaxby's is very popular in the state of Florida, along with Popeyes, by the way. It's, if you like. So basically a lot of chicken places I'm recommending here. There's Carol Hutchins, the legendary head coach, Bryson, who retired after the 2022 season. Her last game as head coach in Michigan came in that Orlando regional.
Nice to see that she is in the building for this one.
Sure is.
I will say a good local restaurant there. I believe it's called the Townhouse. That's in Oviedo, Florida, which is a few minutes drive north of the UCF campus. That's a good local place that you can't find anywhere else. That's a good one.
Ella Stevenson at the plate. She was hitting in the top of the first when Indiana Langford was gunned down by Beth Damon trying to steal second base to end the inning. She's ahead of the count here. 2 balls and a strike. How far behind are you, Bryson, behind my call there? It's about a half second.
When the opening, basically you called the opening pitch, and then right as you started calling the pitch, that is when I saw it. So I would say about that much.
That's not too bad. Foul ball there. 2-2 the count. Shobani Toll, third base, coaching at third base, took over. Two balls, 2 strikes, the count. To go, Vega went upstairs again. That fouled it off. Count remains 2-2. Of course, these two programs have played a lot, not just in that 2022 regional. They played that year in Clearwater, and I want to say they played in Clearwater in 2023. Another riser foul.
Michigan is certainly fighting a lot more in this inning right there. I think going down early is already lit a fire under them. At the very least, to just match it.
Now miss there, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Of course, people just tuning in as they will throughout the day. It's an early game, a Friday afternoon, 2:00 game. So some of you might be at work. And Stevenson, tomahawks that one to deep left. That's trouble. That ball is gone. It's a solo home run for Ella Stevenson. Ties the game up at 1 here in the second inning on a solo homer by Stevenson.
Just like that, it's a tie ball game. I'm telling you what, home runs aren't everything in stickball sports like baseball and softball, but I mean, if this season from both teams has taught me anything, it's that home runs are just extremely, extremely valuable because that's guaranteed scores right there. If you're in the park, then someone can get out.
So it's a 1-1 ball game following the Stevenson home run. And the first pitch is strike. Lily Valamont, the sophomore catcher out of Trenton, Michigan, at the plate. And that ball is hit to center, but Simon is under it, makes the catch for the first out of the inning. We got some more comments coming in here, Bryson. We got P. Maximus. Thanks, guys, for the broadcast. No one else is covering it without cable. That's true. You do need cable to watch this game, or at least some streaming.
Yeah, I am. For example, I am watching the game on the monitor above my laptop on ESPN Plus. I actually took a picture of it to post on our Black and Gold Banner and Instagram story, which has the link to this broadcast as well.
Let's see. 0-1 the count. With one out, a bunt attempt fielded by Humphreys, throws through first in time to get the out. 2 gone. Seiler's retired. 2 gone.
Heads up play right there by Humphreys. She was already gunning it to home plate right away. For an underclassman player like her, that is a very experienced move right there. That's good coaching right there.
If Humphreys is very good at charging against bunt plays. She does a good job reading the ball on that. So there's 2 outs, nobody on here in the top of the second. First pitch fouled off. I believe this is Maddie Erickson at the plate. Yep, Maddie Erickson, who has the junior. 6 homers, 29 RBIs. Swing and misses upstairs. And Vega's up 0-2. So 0-2 the count.
Let's definitely not discredit this UCF defense, by the way. As good as Isabella Vega is as a pitcher, I've seen some games where she doesn't really strike a lot of batters out, and she just does a really good job at forcing ground balls or just forcing balls that the UCF defense are able to cover quite easily.
That pitch is hit foul. It seems like Michigan's being aggressive against that rise ball from Vega. As Erickson fouled that ball off. Of course, there's games going on throughout the country. Tennessee with an early 2-0 lead over Miami of Ohio in the Knoxville region. Oh, she went around. Oh, come on. Are you well, the good thing here, Bryson, is I get to be a lot more colorful on these watch-alongs. What do you think, Bryson? Did she go around?
Let's look at the replay. Oh, that's a borderline call right there. That is an extremely borderline call. That very 50-50.
Well, there's a makeup call right there because they just gave her a strike 3. That was, to me, looked like high and outside. So that looked like a makeup call to end the inning as Vega gets the strikeout. Stevenson with the solo homer to left field ties it up at 1 through an inning and a half here in the Austin Regional.
Just one pitch can be all the difference in this game.
All right, so we're going to the bottom of the second. All right, Bryson, this is part of a busy weekend of UCF athletics. I think people may not be aware of it. So give us a quick preview of what is ahead the rest of the weekend. Baseball, just a crushing loss last night, led 4-2 in the top of the 9th against Baylor, gave up 3 runs, lost 5-4. They got game 2 tonight. You got the Big 12 rowing championships Sunday in Sarasota. You got Big 12 track and field championships going on, right? What do we got?
Yes. So baseball will be getting underway later. Once we're done here, I'm going to be heading to the Johnny Leano Park. Baseball has senior night tonight as well. They're not doing it on Saturday because they want to make sure everybody is focused on the game, and they certainly will need to be because their season is very much on the line at the minute. BYU, thanks to their victory in Game 1 over Texas Tech in Provo last night, has BYU ahead of the Knights in the Big 12 standings right now. So to get in the Big 12 tournament, UCF needs to either be tied or ahead of BYU in the Big 12 standings. So right now UCF is a game behind, which basically means that if BYU wins today and UCF loses today, then UCF season is over. So very much, so even though it's senior night, a very, very crucial ball game for this UCF baseball ball club tonight that is going to be fighting for its postseason season life. The broadcast is coming back now. I will quickly say that Natalia Madison, senior Natalia Madison of UCF track and field team, is currently competing in the heptathlon at the Big 12 Outdoor Track and Field Championships in Lawrence, Kansas at the moment. She's currently sits in second place, just 42 points behind Juliette Laraquente Hubner, who is in the lead. However, there's only one event left to go, and that is the 800-meter run, which is slated to go at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, although it is usually Natalia Madison's worst event. So it will be interesting to see if she's able to hold on to get a podium spot here in the Big 12 Outdoor Championships. She is a good ways ahead of Iowa State's Kirsten Fisher, who's currently in third. But again, she just has to hold up in the 800 meter, which is usually the event she places worst at, as Michigan now sends the first pitch in the bottom half of the second.
They showed clips of the Coach Ball Malone getting trounced. They're wet there with the regional win in 2022. So they did show the clip coming back from the broadcast. Izzy Mertez here leading it off for the Knights, hitting .325, 7 homers, 32 RBIs. Made all region. Takes a pitch outside, and the count is 1-2. Mertez will be followed by Damon and Ray. 5, 6, 7 for the Knights here against Durkowski here in the bottom of the second.
NFC All-Region second team Izzy Mertez is. And I'll tell you what, if Isabella Vega is the team's most valuable player overall, I think Izzy's their most valuable hitter as she flies out to center field.
Yeah, makes the fly out there to Conway for the first out here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up Beth Damon to the plate. People ask you, Bryson, what do you typically cover? Everything UCF or specific sports?
Yes.
All the above.
It's pretty much everything, Mark. I fill in at baseball and at football and men's basketball when needed. Everything else I try to get to as regularly as I possibly can.
Beth Damon, who leads the team with 35 RBIs, 8 home runs on the year, steps in.
Except softball, of course. Softball, of course, is Eric Lopez's baby. I just help him as much as possible on that front.
Damon drops a base hit into center field on a 1-0 pitch. And what a year for Beth Damon, who just keeps getting better by the day. She may have had a case for all region, but nonetheless gets the single here with 1 out in the bottom of the second for the Knights.
Unfortunately, when you have Isabella Vega on your team, it's really hard to be the standout freshman on a squad like that. How about Conway, though, getting a lot of work early in this one and out in center field for Michigan?
Yeah, a lot of balls hit towards center. With the slap hitter now, Samantha Ray, the sophomore, to step in here. With Damon at first base and 1 out. A ball and a strike to count to Ray. With Damon at first base. 1 out here. Durkowski delivers. Ray tried to bunt their miss there. 1-2. It's pretty cool, though, that ESPN could have picked any game they wanted. They picked this game to be their first game on linear here on ESPN, too.
Well, the storylines of this one are quite a good one. Plus, both UCF and Michigan have been quite stout teams this season.
Ray slaps it foul down to left field. Just foul.
Ooh, yeah, barely foul, man.
Count remains 1-2. Of course, UCF's never played in Austin, Texas prior to today. Back in 2005, UCF was in the regionals in Gainesville. Had they won that regional, they would have gone to Austin, as that regional was paired up against the Austin regional. Bethune-Cookman won the Gainesville regional, ended up playing Texas, led by Kat Osterman. There's a sliding catch in foul territory by the left fielder for Michigan, Ellie Seiler. And Ray is retired on the foul out for the second out here in the second inning.
Great play right there. Michigan is really showing its prowess defensively right now, especially in the outfield.
Yeah, that's a nice catch by Seiler.
Not much you can really do on that from an offensive perspective.
Coco Jaimez now will come to hit with a runner at first and 2 outs.
This is definitely where you want to try to get through the inning on this one. Coco Jaimez, 190 batting average, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's been kind of had a rough start to the year. Has picked it up lately, but yeah, that she's more of a defensive player this year. That's been her strength. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think Coach Ball Malone wanted to go with her best defensive lineup right from the get-go. And hey, Coco Jaimez says, "Be quiet, Bryson. I can hit." She gets a base hit to the left side for a 2-out single for Jaimez.
Hey, I mean, that's I'm weaponizing the announcer's curse for good, Eric.
So a single for Jaimez. Damon's at second, and now Madison Simon, the senior transfer from Oregon State, will step in, hitting .218, coming off a good Big 12 tournament. Will hit with 2 on, 2 out here in the second. First pitch to Simon's in for a strike.
To be fair to Coco, she had a 4-game hitting streak from Game 3 against Houston through the Kansas series. So she actually has been improving in the hitting category later in the season.
They're showing the thermometer there, Bryson. They're really pumping up the heat there. And the
flashing back to the 2022 Orlando Regional right there. But I mean, hopefully this won't be another. If they have to go extra innings again in this kind of weather, then man, these teams just really currying the bad luck in that perspective.
Simon strikes out swinging as Durkowski just pulled the strings on the pitch to get the strikeout. Knight strand 2, and we are through 2 here in the Austin Regional, all tied at 1-1 through 2 innings.
Yeah, that's definitely a frame that you probably would have liked to have back, maybe. I mean, you got Beth Damon getting Sammy Ray fouling out, I think, was kind of the unfortunate situation right there. Michigan just did really great defensively, and you can't really do too much about that, I suppose. But you got Aubrey Evans leading it off next time, so it's just a fresh look at the order.
Yeah, I think that's the part of the positive is, yeah, you kind of turn the lineup over there.
As we were saying at the last commercial break, by the way, you mentioned the NCAA, the Big 12 Rowing Championship is coming on Sunday, which I am aiming to be at right there, as UCF tries to go for their first outright Big 12 title. Of the women's tennis team, of course, shared the Big 12 regular season title earlier this spring. The Knights are ranked number 15 in the country right now in the CRCA coaching poll. That's the highest UCF has ever been in these rowing rankings under second year. And of course, they're under second year head coach Mara Allen, who came over from Texas. Texas, by the way, is number 3 ranked in the country right now. And considering the performance the UCF did against the other Big 12 teams that were at Nathan Benderson Park earlier this season for the Sarasota 2K, I think UCF is going to be coming into this Big 12 championship as a massive favorite for this one. So it'll be interesting to see if they can capture that title and be the first to get a Big 12 title all for themselves from a team perspective at UCF.
What time is that? Sunday morning, huh?
Yes, Sunday morning indeed. The action will be getting underway at 9 a.m., which is a exhibition race though with the third varsity four. That race will not count towards points. The points paying races will start 15 minutes later at 9:15 with the second varsity 8 boats, and the competition will conclude with the varsity 8 race, which will be at 10:15 a.m. Rowing usually likes to wrap up pretty early in the day, Eric. In fact, the ESPN Plus broadcast of the regatta will begin at 8:55 a.m. Eastern time.
Top of the third, Isabella Vega back to work. First pitch is hit to right, but playable. Kotzelnick is under it. Makes the catch. One pitch, one out here in the third inning.
There you go. That establishes some defensive momentum right there. That's a fun little dichotomy to look at. Stormy with that just unshakable expression on her face, but also doing the hand signals she does for the rest of the defenders out there.
Next pitch is swung on and hit to center, but playable. Simon's under it and makes the catch. So 2 pitches, 2 outs here in the top of the third.
How much would you bet that Michigan's next batter takes the first pitch?
Oh, they're guaranteed.
Indiana Langford back up. Got walked her last at bat. Oh, wow. She was showing bunt there.
Yeah. Just to probably draw the defense in.
I like how I like that the camera is able to capture them just swarming the circle right there. Second pitch goes foul. 1-1 count for me now.
There you go, Bryson. Take a little play-by-play there. I'm trying to take care of some media obligation stuff. 1-1. Is there 2-1?
Ooh, another kind of showing. Is that a bunt or a slap hit look for you, Eric?
More of a slap hit look.
Coming from more of a baseball background, slap hits are normally in my vernacular like that.
Yeah, see right there. She slaps that one foul down to it's 2-2 to count.
Yeah, I think Indiana Langford clearly a more plate discipline type of approach right there. She drew a walk last time, and I'm sure that's what Coach Bonnie Toll is probably wanting her to do again this time, considering the aggression of the last 2 batters.
Just missed outside there. 3-2. Texas Eastern Illinois will follow this game at 4:30. That's a hit to third. Humphreys quickly there. Throw to first in time. Retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for Vega. Her first of the ball game comes here in the top of the third. We head to the bottom of the third. Still tied at 1-1 between the Knights and the Wolverines.
Langford is their leadoff hitter for a reason, Eric. I mean, she is, I think, is definitely going to be a problem offensively for Isabella Vega, if nothing else, because of how patient she can be in the batter's box.
All right, Bryce. Just updating. Just updating our. We will have post game coverage we will be doing on our own. So as soon as this game ends, we'll be signing off pretty quickly because we got post game obligations.
Excellent. Credit to the Texas Strategic Communications team for getting.
Well, hopefully, it's been interesting because I've done some Zoom post media availabilities yesterday. I did them in Fayetteville, Tucson, College Station. They all were different. Some of them were perfect. Some of them I had to watch from a side. Like there's a lot of, so who knows what we're getting, but we're getting something. But, commercial break. Bottom of the third. Top of the order coming up for the Knights.
You know, Eric, this softball NCAA tournament in a way feels like a culmination of quite a successful spring for UCF sports this season. I'm sure rowing can help add to that, but softball, given that it's the most popular sport among the ones that we be talking about, I feel like is kind of a culmination of a pretty successful spring when you look at the overall perspective of UCF spring sports.
Aubrey Evans to lead it off here, bottom of the third. She doubled and scored in the first, hits one to right, but playable as the catch is made by Stevenson for the first out here in the bottom of the third. No question, fifth straight NCAA tournament appearance for the Knights. And I think you looked it up. How many UCF programs could say they've been to at least 5 NCAA tournaments or more?
Not many. I will say that in the D1 NCAA tournament, there are 6 of them. I have it right here. If you want to go in total, there are 8 of them. 6 of them, though, have made the Division I tournament 5 times in a row or more, which includes softball, by the way. Women's golf is actually currently, with their appearance this season in the regional, is currently in the midst of an 8 straight NCAA streak. Mark Vigil saying USF 1 out away from beating Auburn.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I was surprised by the score. I think it was a high-scoring game. Wasn't expecting that, but the Bulls can hit this year. That's in Tallahassee regional.
Oops, never mind. Home run tied it up, bottom of the 8th.
Here, there's a crap ball to second. As Humphreys is retired, 4-3 on the ground out, 2 up, 2 down here in the third inning. Oh man, Auburn itself. What is it, like a 7-7 game over there, or something like that?
I'll tell you what, for the most part, UCF's offense is really making Michigan's defense work.
Stormy Kotzelneck at the plate. Swings the first pitch, fouls it off. Yeah, I mean, earlier in the year, remember they were kind of more defensive. They seem a lot more confident at the plate, more with the plan. Whether it works or not, they're a lot more tougher outs, aggressive outs, versus earlier in the year where they were a little more tentative, taking a lot of pitches. Part of the growth of this team.
Wow, the temperature currently on the broadcast says it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit with a 16-mile-an-hour
You need to compare.
wind.
Can you compare that? Like, can we look up what it was in Orlando? Because, they're comparing this. Somebody there should, like, I might text the broadcast and let them know. Like, what was the temperature like in Orlando that Saturday game, Bryson, that they played that weekend? That was pretty similar, wasn't it?
I am currently looking through it right now.
Kotzelneck down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Durkowski delivers away, ball 2. 2-2 the count to Stormy Kotzelneck here in the bottom of the third. FAU with an early 1-0 lead over Georgia Tech in the Gainesville regional. Coastal with an early lead on Georgia. Well, that's a trendy upset pick over there. Up in the Durham regional. Duke thumped Howard. Strike 3 looking there as Durkowski gets Storby on the strikeout to end the third. We are through 3 here in Austin, still tied at 1 between the Knights and the Wolverines.
Very quick third inning.
Both pitchers. Yeah, both pitchers very efficient. Very efficient.
So I have the box scores, by the way. So the 11-inning thriller that UCF and Michigan played that started at 11:05 a.m. had a weather listed as cloudy and 83 degrees Fahrenheit, though to be fair, that easily could have gotten higher as the game progressed. And then their regional final matchup, which started at 3:25 p.m., was partly cloudy at 92 Fahrenheit. So temperature is looking pretty similar to that regional final.
I'm going to text that information.
What's it like the UCF or the NCAA softball announcer community like that?
What do you mean?
Like, because you're just texting the information over, information over. So, like,
I've got a lot of friends on there. I've had them on the In the Circle podcast, so I've gotten to know them. And Madison Shipman, for example, who's doing this game, was at the Big 12 championship this past week. So I had her on the podcast this year. I've known her for a couple of years. She actually does studio work for the Toronto Blue Jays on the side. Major League Baseball. But these are similar conditions. This should be the inning where they start talking to the coaches, by the way, Bryson. Pretty soon here. We're at the top of the fourth. Yeah, Bonnie Toll's going to talk. I'm going to mute myself, Bryson, so go ahead and talk while I listen to what Bonnie has to say.
All right. Well, here. All right. A quick update from the Big 12 track and field heptathlon. They're actually currently on the second to last event right now. They just started they're getting some last stats in from the javelin throw at the minute. Natalia Madison, UCF, is currently in 13th there at the minute, though, with one of her best throws of the year. I think they're just doing a different flight is probably what's going on right now. Is a different flight. That's why it's taken so long between Natalia Madison's throws and then the rest of these throws that I'm seeing being added into the live scoring apparatus right now.
Man, I could tell you, they're making a big deal about the weather, the temperature, Bryson. Look at that. They're showing people drinking water. Like, they are hyping this sucker up, Bryson. You should, tweet out, hey, you didn't have to deal with I had to deal with back in Orlando in the 22.
They might be dealing with it right now.
So how ironic is that these two teams are playing once again in a regional, and once again the conditions are extremely hot.
Under scorcher.
I don't think you'd be doing very well right now, and if you were in Austin, Texas, Bryce.
Well, I mean, no. What happened? No, I will be doing better because I would have learned.
What would you have done differently? As Conway is leading off for the Wolverines here in the top of the fourth. Conway, Putz, and Stevenson, 2, 3, 4 to hit for the Wolverines against Isabella Vega.
I would say find a shady spot. That's the big one.
There's not many at all at that stadium, I can tell you that. That is not too different. I mean, you've seen it. There's not a lot of shade in Austin either. So, in fact, there've been a lot of talks about renovations over there in Texas. The count is 1 and 2 to Conway here.
Man, are all these softball facilities built like either facing where the sun is going to be or just don't have adequate shading facilities?
Conway flies out to right. Kotzelnick makes the catch. Big out there. Conway's a dangerous hitter. Hit 17 home runs during the year. She flies out for the first out here in the top of the fourth inning. Well, I think more of the older stadiums probably. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you on that. I just know there's been talk of renovations at Texas. And, for example, if I was doing radio broadcast over there, I'd be outside. So I would probably not be doing very well right now outside. Lauren Putz, top 25 finalist for National Freshman of the Year, is at the plate. 13 homers, 45 RBIs for Lauren. And look at that. Of course, she is related to J.J. Putz, Longtime Major League Baseball reliever, Bryson.
The baseball
In fact, that's
softball
her dad.
connection.
Yeah.
Alex Prieto, by the way, commenting, nobody else I'd rather watch along with. Thank you very much for spending your time listening to us watch the game.
2-1 the count to Putz.
Oh, there's JJ Putz right there.
Yeah, they just showed him, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm a little behind you, so I just saw him. Bouncer to the catcher for ball 3.
That's a single. Single to the right side. A rare time Vega fell behind a hitter, and Putz made her pay with a single to the right side. So a 1-out single, only the second hit of the ball game for the Wolverines. As they show JJ Putz there. Good hit for Putz.
Absolutely. But that being said, they do have 1 out, so UCF is in a good spot for a double play here.
Ella Stevenson, who hit the solo home run, her 9th of the year. That was back in the second inning that tied the game up at 1. She's at the plate. Takes a strike, 0-1 the count. Yeah, Alex was a longtime marketing guy for UCF Softball the previous couple of years prior to this year. As the audience continues to grow here on this watch-along, we appreciate people tuning in.
Ella Stevenson up. She hit that solo home run earlier. If she can get more power on the ball, then the double play threat will be eliminated. But she is back in the count 0-1, now 0-2. They tried to pick a runner off at first. No dice. 1-1 count now.
Oh! That's a double play.
There you go.
You called it, Bryson. You called that right, Bryson. You called it.
Hey, I mean, the risk is there. It
was a line out to Humphreys, and it looked like Putz might have been going there. I'm not sure, but it turned into a double play, and the Knights get out of it.
It's not the double play that I was envisioning was going to happen. But I will. No, I was thinking more of the classic double play of the Keystone infielder to the other Keystone infielder to first, kind of like that, like ground ball style. But that is a fortunate break for UCF softball with the loud out number 2. And then whether it's because that the Putz was going when the ball was hit or was trying to steal a bag, that's also possible. What she was trying to do there. Did it look like that she went early, Eric?
May have. People are blowing me up with the text messages. So a 1-1 game. Shout out to Nick who's watching. I was texting him. And we got a special guest here, Bryson Turner. Let's bring her on here, Bryson. So when you think of UCF Michigan, and I think back to that 2022 regional, somebody who can actually relate to the weather today and maybe can give us a comparison was, of course, the night great senior that year, Kamo Woodall, joining us. Hello.
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing good. All right. They've been talking a lot on the broadcast about how hot it is. You pitched in that Orlando regional. How would you compare the temperatures today versus when back in Orlando 2022?
Well, it's pretty nasty out here, but they don't know the humidity that we had to deal with over in Orlando. So, plus I was on the mound that day, so I think it's comparable today, but just a tad hotter in Orlando that day.
Just a tad. Yeah, let them know that. I'm trying to let the broadcast know over there. Tell me your thoughts. What's it like in there in person?
1 second. Let me get out of the speakers.
Oh yeah, you're by the
Sorry.
speakers there in Austin.
All right, go ahead.
All right, what's it like being there?
It's an exciting environment. I definitely still feel the UCF energy from the dugout. So it's a really cool thing to be experiencing from outside it, but definitely nostalgic, missing it a little bit.
What's been your thoughts on Isabella Vega, who's had an incredible freshman year?
Oh yeah, just from what I'm watching right now, she does a fantastic job of keeping the ball, feeding the defense, keeping her pitch count low, especially in this heat. And I especially loved watching her recover from that one home run that got away from her, and then turning around and getting her team out of the inning so they could go back in the dugout. So I'm really impressed with her.
Kama, do you think that there would be a drastic or too much of a difference from the audience level to the field level when it comes to temperature?
It's a good question. When I played, other than rain, we weren't paying attention to the weather. We went out there and took whatever was out there. And I remember that I would kind of get a feel for the temperature and weather after the game. I would notice how hot it was and stuff after I finished, just the adrenaline and stuff. So as a fan, I think it's worse.
Have you had a chance to talk to the players or Coach Ball Malone here since they've arrived?
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to have a little chat with Coach Bear and to see Caitlin hit the bullpen a little bit. But I've been kind of keeping my distance, letting them stay in their game focus until it's over.
Ashley Griffin, ironically enough, leading off here for the Knights, bottom of the fourth in a 1-1 game. She had a home run in that regional final against Michigan. What memories has popped into your head as you see these two jerseys going at each other? It has to bring back memories, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember Jada's catch on the foul line and how clutch that was. I'm remembering how scrappy Michigan was. They put a lot of balls in play off of me. It looks like they're doing the same with Issa. And, of course, I'm remembering the 9th and 10th innings and how that felt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What came out win 11 innings, 187 pitches in that victory and that winner's bracket game against Michigan in extra innings. Ironically, that game aired on ESPN2, just like this game is, as Griffin popped up for the first out here in the fourth inning. What do the Knights offense have to do against Durkowski, who was on that Michigan team as a freshman that year, pitched in relief, in fact, in that elimination game in 22, where you actually got to close that game out. But what are you seeing from our hitters?
They're playing a lot of barrel the ball, which is good, but they've got to turn it on later in the game. I think striking first is always critical in this kind of game, and they've been putting a lot of pressure. But what they did well in the first inning was connect hits, and they haven't been connecting hits. So I think if they can just string a couple together here, he says stealing them on mound. So if they can just connect a couple of hits here, I think they'll be good to go. We're getting a lot of barrel.
All right.
Alex Prieto, by the way, commenting for you, Kama, to this day, greatest performance I've witnessed any sport. I believe he's referring to your. Alex Prieto said, to this day, greatest performance I've witnessed any sport, probably in reference to you pitching 11 innings against Michigan.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That is one of my favorite, my favorite game I've ever been a part of. So,
one of my favorites too. Trust me, you're a living legend for that performance. Now you've graduated, I think you're hitting some dead spots there because you're coming in a little choppy there. I mean, that's an old facility there. What is the facilities like there in Austin?
Oh, they're beautiful. I'm sorry I'm losing you guys. But,
yeah, I'm losing. Right now we're losing you. Hold on. See if you get a better signal there, voice-wise.
Let me see if I can move around. Is this better?
Not yet. We'll let you know. There's a ground out. Mertez has grounded out. So there are 2 outs here in the fourth inning. You were sounding great, too. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's not the visuals that's the issue.
You look fantastic, by the way. You still have not aged. You have not aged. You still look like you could throw another 11 innings today if you wanted to.
Let me try one more.
Oh, she's going. Ooh. Meanwhile, Beth Damon with a single while Kama's looking for a spot here for a better audio signal.
Another great hit from Beth today.
2 hits for Beth Damon in this ball game with 2 outs here in the fourth inning. Where are you? Where are you going, Kama? Where are you?
Where am I?
Yeah, where are you?
Oh gosh, 1 second.
Don't get lost, please. Not at our expense.
How about now?
Oh, the audio's still the same.
Could be a phone thing, maybe.
I wonder if it's a phone thing. Maybe it's your phone.
It's probably my phone. It is hot out here. It's probably overheating. But
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. The phone could be getting heated over there. That's right. Wow, that's how hot it is.
I can hear you guys a little bit better now. So I'm not good.
Yeah. Maybe being in the shade will be a benefit there.
We'll find out. 1-1 the count. Runner at first here with Samantha Ray at the plate. Takes a strike, and the count is now 1-2 to Samantha Ray. We'll let you go after this inning ends.
All right.
Well, you're graduating, right, from Baylor, master's degree, right?
My first doctor. I just graduated my JD.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, Dr. Woodall now.
Dr. Woodall. Well, doctor, no excuse. Next year, if we do alumni weekend, you got to come.
We don't get the privilege of doctor, so I'm JD or Esquire.
Oh,
Kama Woodall Esquire. That's even more fancy.
Very good. All right, Ray has struck out to end the inning. We're through 4 innings. We're going to let you get back to being a fan. They need your voice to be yelling loud there, all right?
All right.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. Thank you, guys.
All right. Kamo Woodall joining us live from Austin, Texas. How about that, Bryson, huh? Pulling out all the stops.
Absolutely. P. Maximus says this audio reminds me of old Charlie Brown cartoon telephone calls. Yeah, unfortunately the Heat can do that.
You think that's what it was? It was great too.
Well, I think so, because if it was a signal thing, then the visuals would be choppy along with it.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, that's a good call.
That's what makes me think it's a phone issue, because if it's an audio issue, then it's definitely something going on with the hardware.
That was cool to see her get her perspective there, comparing the temperatures there. I did not realize Bobby and the kids are there in Austin, so they went on the trip. Everybody went on the trip except me. I got left back with you, Bryson. I got left back.
Oh, come on. I'm not that bad. Coach Ball Malone, by the way, had her in-game interview during that, by the way. So I tried to listen to it a little bit, but I popped into it right around when it was ending. Funny that Kama Woodall is graduated with her doctoral law from Baylor. Funnily enough, considering the baseball team's going to be facing Baylor later today at 6 p.m. for senior night. I'm honestly kind of glad that this softball game is going quickly. That gives more of a time thing.
Well, don't jinx it, my friend. Don't jinx it.
Oh no, yeah, with these teams, just don't know.
Where are we? At the top of the fifth? Yeah, going to the top of the fifth. The 1-1. Good, well-pitched game, as I would expect with these two teams.
Absolutely. Both great pitchers.
One run, 2 hits, no errors for Michigan. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for UCF. Is that our first guest we've had on in the history of night shift live programming here, Watchalongs? See, I wouldn't be able to do that necessarily if I was broadcasting. Vega back to work here in the top of the fifth. 1-1 ball game against Michigan. With attorney, what do we call Kamo Woodall then? What's the official, what she earned there at Baylor?
I believe it's a doctor of law, so JD, I believe JD or Esquire or something like that. Is what I believe she said.
Yeah.
And Michigan fouls it off there. We got Valamont currently batting 253 batting average on the year, 0-1 so far. She flew out last time.
That's missed for a ball. 2-1 to count to Valamont. South Florida, is that right? Up 12-7 on Auburn. What is going on in Tallahassee? Is the wind blowing out or what?
We got an expert in the chat. Juris Doctorate Mark Vigil says what JD stands for, because his license plate is OU Law.
There you go. The strike, 2-2 the count. I'm glad you all know about that. In other words, if I'm in trouble, I can just reach out to her, right? She can help me out. Is that what we're saying?
Valamon 3-9 over her last 3 games. The broadcast just showed.
Chases a rise ball, fouls it off. Damon has room and makes the catch for the first out here in the top of the 5th. Foul out there, 1 up, 1 down here in the 5th.
Does this Michigan team strike me as a power lineup type of team?
Yeah, no, they got a lot of power. Amanda Chittister has taught them a lot of power. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe they have a lot of home runs this year. Not as many as last year, but they've really exploded over the last couple of years in home runs. More powerful than even that 2022 team. It was more of a line drive type of hitter. That ball is hit foul down to third base. And the count is 0-1 to Seiler, the hitter for the Wolverines. I have no control over who Coach Ball Malone's schedules, for the record. Although she's doing quite well for herself. I think she went top 10 schedule in the country, top 20, top 10 maybe non-conference, top 20 overall. I think it was what it ended up being. Helped them get to this regional berth. 0-2 the count. Isabella Vega. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Vega. 2 gone here in the 5th inning. Big strikeout for Vega here to get Seiler. Went upstairs and got her to chase.
P. Maximus just commented, this game has the same vibes as previous UCF Michigan games in the past. Great pitching and a late inning hit.
It does remind me of that Saturday game that Woodall pitched where it was, 2-2, went into the 11th innings. For the Knights won it on a Maddie Bejarano RBI double. As they won the game 3-2 in 11. She tied the game in the bottom of the 7th with 2 strikes with an RBI double to tie the game. First pitch is a ball, 1-0. There's Amanda Chittister. They're showing her the hitting coach for Michigan. A lot of Michigan shots. Am I paranoid here, or is it, or does it seem like it's been very much a lot of Michigan focus talk there? I have the broadcast on mute, so I couldn't tell you, but they're showing the Chittister right now.
I think as far as as from a visual standpoint, I think so. They're certainly showing from an off-field standpoint.
Foul ball. Maddie Erickson at the plate. Down in the count, 1-2. Fouled off. One thing I've noticed, Michigan has been chasing a lot of the rise balls of Vega and making contact. Well, I think the home run was off a rise ball by Stevenson back in the 2nd inning.
The contact with this Michigan team is doing quite.
You've been impressed, haven't you? Yeah, you've been impressed. Yeah.
Well, Vega's only struck out twice.
2 strikeouts. And she gets a ground ball to short. Aubrey Evans is there. Throw to first in time to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We are through 4.5. All tied at 1 between the Knights and the Wolverines going to the bottom of the 5th.
We are at the hour and 20-minute mark of this stream.
Don't jinx it.
We got Coco Jaimes, Maddie Simon, and Aubrey Evans coming up for the Knights in this one. This is a deceptively tough next 3 up for UCF coming up here. Coco, of course, coming off get her hit earlier to prove me wrong, specifically to spite me, And Maddie Simon as well has a solid batter. And Aubrey, as we've seen, has been a very solid RBI contributor and a very pressing home run threat. This could be a really good opportunity for UCF offensively coming up here.
Trying to get something going against Durkowski, who's done a really good job, had that shaky first inning, but outside of that, she's been in control. Both of these pitchers have been. This has lived up to the hype. Durkowski and Vega, two of the best pitchers out there. Durkowski, the senior, Vega, the freshman.
Michigan has only had 2 hits this entire day, and one of them was that home run. Goes to show you how big of a difference one pitch can make.
No doubt. Wouldn't be a UCF postseason without some drama, right, Bryce?
Wouldn't be a UCF softball game this season at all without drama.
It's very touche.
I try, Eric. I try. Update out of Kansas. I believe they are currently finalizing the results for the heptathlon javelin throw at the moment. And so after everybody has thrown in that event, Natalia Madison has now fallen back to 3rd place in the heptathlon standings right now. Annie Mollenhouse from Oklahoma State has managed to ride up to the top of the standings thanks to a very solid throw there in the javelin, which was 5th place in the event overall. Natalia Madison is 161 points behind the lead going into the last event, the 800-meter run, which is slated to start in about 13 minutes time.
Durkowski's retired 7 of the last 8 nights. Will pitch to Coco Jaimes to start the bottom of the 5th. Mentioned it, Jaimes, Simon, Evans, 8-9-1 for the Knights. Jaimes singled in her previous at-bat. The 0-1 pitch missed, and see if the Knights can get her back to working out some of the pitches here. A ball and a strike to count to Durkowski. And Jaimes fouls it off.
Fouled off there from Jaimes, 1-2.
Ball and 2 strikes. Jaimes, that's a base hit. Coco Jaimes, Bryson Turner, with a single to the left side again, and she leads off the Knights' 5th with a single. Coco, 2 for 2.
Coco is trying to spite me specifically.
Clearly,
today.
and I'm all for it. I am all for it.
Hey, weaponizing the announcer's jinx for good. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Interesting to see what the Knights do here with Simon at the plate. Do they have her sacrifice here? Yep, she shows sacrifice. She buds. Oh, it's knocked out. That's a fair ball. There'll be no play, and everybody is safe. Everybody is safe. She bunted that ball. Erickson, I don't know what happened. If she stumbled, that ball was hit hard. She couldn't come up with it cleanly, and then Simon gets on. It's 2 on, nobody out. Simon slipped. She slipped, Bryson.
She was just splayed out. I'm looking at the replay starting right now. Oh man, yeah, her center of gravity was just completely off. Like she was just, yeah. Oh wow, yeah. I see what she did there. She was running too far away from the third base line right there. So when she had to reach down to get it, she reached too far and lost her balance and fell. Yeah, that's man, that's definitely something that you'd want to have back if you're a third baseman right there.
Wow. You'll have to tell me how they officially score that, but I think that's a hit, I would assume. And is Bonnie Toll going to make a pitching change here? Yeah, that's going to be it for Durkowski. That's a surprise. I didn't think that was interesting. So they're going to make a pitching changes, Michigan, with 2 on, nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. You'll have to tell me who that is, Bryson, because you have the roster in front of number 11 for the Wolverines. I think, is that Aaron Hine? I'm wondering if that's not sure who that is, but wow, big sequence here coming on here, bottom of the 5th.
That is Aaron Hone.
Yeah, she's their other ace. So they're both teams here looking at having both aces. Aaron is definitely their other ace. So they've been both her and Durkowski has carried this team through the Big Ten tournament. So that makes more sense.
Yeah, she's a sophomore from Poseyville, Indiana. I think honestly, this could be a planned substitution, maybe to save them both for the next game for Michigan.
Well, no, it's also to give UCF a different look because remember they're going to the top of the order. This would be the 3rd time through the order that UCF would have seen Durkowski. So I think that's also a factor in this decision. I'm
not seeing is officially being scored as a bunt single according to the ESPN Gamecast. I have to watch that. I have to watch that one because the stat broadcast is password protected for credentialized media there at the facility.
Why don't you go to D1 Softball and go to the scoreboard there? Cheap plug. So Aaron Hine, I think it's Hine. There's a bunt by Aubrey. It's a fair ball. Throw to first is in time. So they bunt Aubrey Evans. Sacrifice bunt. Michigan plays it well this time, but both runners advance into scoring position. And it is 2nd and 3rd with 1 out.
That's a very smart play from Ball Malone right there because that makes the double play a less likely of a option now going forward. At least the traditional double play that is easy. That is something you practice all the time.
So Humphreys will hit with 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Well, the other reason you do that too is you try to apply pressure on the Michigan defense after they didn't handle the bunt the previous play. You see if they can try to do it again. Interesting to see how Michigan pitches to Humphreys here with the open base at first base with 1 out.
You wonder if maybe Sierra Humphreys will try to sack fly this one. I feel like a sack.
Well, that's the goal. That's the goal is to hit it out of the infield and drive in the run from 3rd. It's fouled off. Count is 1-1 to Humphreys, who's grounded out twice.
She got some air on that one, though. She did do that. USF is, by the way, up 12-7 on Auburn in the top of the 9th. I'm looking at the scoreboard.
What a crazy game that was.
Oh, it just ended. Just ended. South Florida just beat Auburn.
There you go.
How about the Bulls?
Ball and a strike. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th. Humphreys hits a fly ball to shallow right. That's not going to be deep enough. And the catch is made. Didn't get enough on it. And the runners have to hold. That's a huge out.
Man. That's another one where I don't know what more you could do on that one. 1-2 count. You have to make contact on it. Just couldn't get it far enough. That really puts the pressure on, though, now for who?
Katsunek.
Yeah.
That puts Stormy at the plate. Yeah, that's a big out. So now you got Stormy with 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. I think those that are in anti-bunting, like our friend Brian Murphy, would tell you that's why they don't like the bunt because it basically gives you one less opportunity to hit. But yeah, that's the situation we're at right now.
Well, I think that if you're in the double play situation you're in with no outs, I can see why you want to do that. It's a debate, I'll tell you that. Kotzelnick with 22 RBIs so far going into this one. Not your chief RBI hitter. Those are more like Beth Damon, Ashley Griffin, Aubrey Evans, and Izzy Mertez. But Stormy has had her fair share of RBIs this year. So
well, that was interesting. Kotzelnick walked on 4 pitches. Erin looked like she just wasn't comfortable throwing to Kotzelnick, the left-handed hitter. So Kotzelnick draws the walk. I don't know if that was intentional or intentional, but nonetheless, bases are now loaded with 2 outs. And Ashley Griffin, the redshirt junior, will step in with bases loaded and 2 outs. She has grounded out and popped up in this game.
Now, this is a person you want to have at the batter's box right now with runners in scoring position. She has 30 RBIs, 2 behind Izzy Mertez and Aubrey Evans for the team lead. Or not the team lead. Beth Damon leads the team with 35, but she's in the 30s with RBIs this season. Plus, we've seen her clutch bat so far this year. And looks like they're going to have a circle visit.
Yeah, I mean, she's thrown 5 balls in a row. So I think they're trying to kind of settle her in to find the strike zone here because you got nowhere to put Griffin with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Look at that. At 256 batting average with runners in scoring position this season for Ashley Griffin. Baseball team could learn a thing or two from her on that department.
Wow. Takes one high. That's a ball. 2-0. Well, and I think if you're Griffin, you're waiting until she proves she could throw you a strike.
Oh, absolutely, because that's now ball 6 for her.
Yeah, that one was high. It was a good call. It's a ball. That one's inside. 3-0. 3-0 here.
Plate discipline right here. That is what Isabella Langford was showing for the Wolverines, and now the Knights are showing it right here. The Knights are a very, very, all-around hitting team, I feel like.
That is outside, ball 4. A run will score, and the Knights lead 2-1 on a 4-pitch walk to Griffin.
Oh, man.
Woo! Well, and I like the discipline by Ashley there. Didn't try to do too much. Could tell that Erin wasn't comfortable. And Erin can shake her head all she wants. That was clearly ball.
You know what those are? That is right there from these past 2 batters. Those are your older players. Their experience shining through right there.
Great call on that. Good call on that by you there. Mertez at the plate takes ball 1. 1-0 right now. I would not swing until she throws a strike, and there's the strike. So it's 1-1.
I'm almost certain that Coach Ball Malone or Ashley or someone told her that.
Yeah.
Or she observed it for herself. She has a very perceptive freshman.
Mertez up the middle, through, base hit. 1 run will score. It'll give the Knights another run. Is coming home, and she's out. Kotzelnick is called out at home plate. We'll see if they review it. They'll at least get 1 run in, and we'll see if they review the play at home plate. I would be surprised if they didn't. Yeah, Ball Malone calling for a review on the Kotzelnick play at home. Either way, the Knights will have at least a 2-run lead to work with as the umpires discuss this now, which I hate, by the way. Just go to the review. If you're going to review it, just go review it. Don't need to discuss it. At least they didn't take too long this time to discuss this. They have the microphone.
I completely understand why you would go for that with 2 outs. You just don't know what the situation's going to be with the next batter. I can see why you want to try to get as many runs as you can. Plus, when you have a base runner like Kotzelnick, because I think Kotzelnick had a review call where she evaded a tag before, if I'm not mistaken.
She has. Now, there's a couple things here. Is did she get the bag to touch the plate before the tag, number 1? Number 2, was there obstruction by the catcher, Lily Valamont?
Oh, wow. I see what they did there. I see why Kotzelnick is saying that she's safe because, man, what an evasion tactic from her in the slide there, because the catcher basically takes the ball and puts it right down on the turf.
Right, but I don't think she tagged her until she got that right hand on home plate.
Oh, no, I see. Oh, I know. I see what they're looking at now. It's a possibility that she could have gotten her, like, her left, like, hip area. That looks really close.
Now, the call on the field was out. Keep that in mind. It's got to be conclusive to overturn it.
I can see why Kotzelnick thinks she's safe. I can definitely see why. I could maybe see it as an it could be an obstruction call. I could maybe. I don't know. She left, I think, half of home plate open, so maybe not. Yeah, that's the spot where her arm is covering it. That is really close. I think this is going to stand.
Initial moment, but when she first twists her body.
Is it good? The question is, did she avoid that tag when she touched the hand at the plate? I don't think they're going to call obstruction there. Well, they're done reviewing it. I think they'll stay with the call. Is that right? Because I don't think there's anything conclusive. We'll see.
Not conclusive, no. I think it's too close to call.
Yeah, they stay with the call, so the inning ends.
Okay.
But Knights do get 2 runs in the inning. A RBI walk to Griffin, the RBI single to Mertez, and take a 3-1 lead over Michigan through 5 here at the Austin Regional. So still productive inning for the Knights. Started by Coco Jaimes. Bryson.
I think it was a good decision for Ball Malone to send the runner there. I mean, the fact that it was so close, I think it's clear that they could have gotten safe, especially with a evader like Stormy there. But even so, that bases loaded walk right there, that's a huge one right there. 2-run lead, especially with Isabella Vega there in the circle, is definitely a good situation for you to be in. I guess the question now for Coach Ball Malone is, what do you want to do now? Do you want to keep Vega in, or is now the time to put in Caitlin Felton?
I think the way she's been, I would keep her in until she gets in trouble. Personally. But we'll see.
Michigan has Ramsey, Fantucci, and Langford coming up.
8, 9, 1 in the order. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I think? I think that Vega will stick around for at least Ramsey and Fantucci, but I could see Coach Ball Malone bringing Langford back up, bringing Felton in with Langford coming back up.
Especially if there's somebody, especially if there's somebody on base. Somebody gets on. Yeah, that could be a possibility. Ooh-wee. Stressed out.
Yeah. Are you using the broadcast to keep up with the rest of the regional games going on right now, or do you have another tab open with that?
No, I'm just locked in on this game. I'll worry about the other games later. I'm actually what I'm keeping track of. I'm keeping track of my inboxes to make sure to see when I get the email for postgame. Because I've been told that there'll be an email sent closer to the finish of this game, Bryson. So that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye on, because I want to make sure you have that email, and among others.
Well, absolutely, given the type of game this is turning into.
Yep. Well, you just hope it all works out. There's the schedule for the rest of the day. The 1-0 game would be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Isn't that during baseball?
On Saturday, yes. On Saturday, baseball will be starting at noon on Saturday tomorrow for their last game of the regular season.
Ouch. All right. Vega back to work to start the 6th. Facing the number 8 hitter. Left-handed hitter. Up and in, 1-1 the count. Ball to strike the count. To Maddie Ramey, first baseman. She hits one to right. That will drop for a hit. Leadoff single for Rainey to start the Wolverines' 6th inning.
Yeah, there we go. I think our predictions might be coming to pass here, Eric.
Yeah, she did a nice job dropping that ball into right field.
Well, this entire game, this Michigan team has been keeping this UCF outfield busy. It's only really a matter of time before you get one off.
Fantucci at the plate takes a strike, 0-1 the count. ESPN having some scoreboard bug there. They don't show the runner at first base. It's kind of weird. Now she squares to bunt and bunts. Good bunt. Humphreys fields it, throws to first in time to get the out. Interesting there with now runner at second. I would have, runner at second, 1 out.
You can tell that Michigan really wants to get a run on the board here. So now here's the question is, does Coach Ball Malone bring in Felton now with Langford coming back up?
Right now she stays with Vega. And there's a pop-up, and the catch is made by Humphreys. Langford, I don't know if she was trying to slap bunt or what, but popped it up in the air. Humphreys with a good read makes the catch. And there are 2 outs here in the 6th.
That did look like a bunt to me from my angle of it. That is an unusually aggressive move from the normally disciplined Langford. And they looked like it came back to bite her there.
Conway now at the plate. Takes the first pitch, ball 1 to Conway. 0-1, 1-0 the count to Conway. He's flown out twice. 17 homers on the year. Very dangerous hitter, 49 RBIs. Hitting with a runner on and 2 outs here in the 6th.
This is the type of batter that one would classify as due, Eric.
Conway takes a strike. It's 1-1 the count. Taylor Kittleman is in the game defensively. Bryson is in right field for Kotzelnick.
Maybe a defensive move going for defensive right here.
No, there's no question that's what that is. That's a defensive move in the outfield. Vega down in the count, 2-1. And Conway hits it to center. That's going to be over the head of Simon. And a run will score. It's an RBI double by Conway. And it's 3-2 now. The Knights with the lead, but 2 outs in the 6th.
Well, I said that Conway was due, and there you go.
The 2-out double for Conway. That was a pitch low, and just give Conway credit. She got a hold of that one.
After 2 flyouts, one of them was able to drop, and she managed to do it with a runner in scoring position.
Putz at the plate. Swings, fouls it back. Vega's still in with a count of 0-1 against Putz with Conway at second base. What a game.
I mean, I can understand why you would keep Vega in at this point. I mean, you got 2 outs.
And that's up high for a ball, 1-1 the count.
I mean, Langford popping it up like she did, I'm guessing that's something that no one on the UCF side expected her to do. So now you get 2 outs. Why not keep Vega in and let her finish the inning? Let Felton maybe close it.
Two balls hit a strike to Putz. These are in the meat of the order of this Wolverine. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. They foul tipped officially, but nonetheless, 2-2 the count.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. Yeah, this is definitely a dangerous spot here. ball 3.
Well, you got
Well-
Stevenson, who hit the home run earlier in the game, on deck.
Yes, exactly.
Payoff pitch. Oh, that's hit to deep center, and that one is gone.
Yep.
Lauren Putz with a 2-run homer, and Michigan has taken the lead 4-3 with 3 runs here in the 6th. All of them coming with 2 outs.
Solid catch there from the Michigan fan in the stands there. And man, I can understand why you want to keep Vega in this one, but that is looking like a decision that's coming back to bite Coach Malone right here. I don't know, Eric. I don't know, Eric. Do you think you would have, after Langford did her thing, you would switch to Felton?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly a conversation to be had, certainly, especially after the Conway at bat, whether she got within 1 run. And we got the umpires getting together here. I'm not sure what this is about.
Oh, there's a review.
Oh, they're talking about whether the fan interfered on that ball.
Oh,
The fan may have jumped and got the ball in play territory.
he did reach out for it. He did do that, but I don't know what the difference is with the. I don't know how big from my angle. The angle of the broadcast. I don't see how much of a difference it is from where the fence is to the bleachers. He did reach out for it, though. He did reach out for it.
He absolutely reached out for the ball, and they're reviewing. If that is in play, that is not negative.
No, I think that would have been out regardless. But
remember, it's got to clear. Did it get a piece of that wall, or was it above? Where was the hand? And it's that Michigan fan that is being right now showcased right now.
It was above it. It was above it, I think, from my angle. Like where he caught it, I think it was above it. Yeah. Call stands.
Hey, jackass, you're still a jackass, all right? I wouldn't know what you're applauding about. No, right, but you're right, Bryson. The question will be, did they keep Vega in too long? She'll be taken out. You were telegraphing that. Obviously, we'll see what Coach Malone will have to say on the post game there, but tough one there. So Michigan with the 4-3 lead here in the top of the 6th. Felton comes in relief. And part of the problem sometimes, Bryson, in double elimination formats, you're thinking, man, maybe if she could finish this game off, you got Felton fresh for the game on Saturday. So I don't know though. We'll have to ask. I think you make a valid point. I was surprised that they didn't bring her in after the Conway at bat. And you thought it should have been after the Langford when they went to the top of the order.
No, yeah. Well, no, Langford is the top of the order.
That's what I'm saying. You felt that at that point, Felton should have come in at that point when they were at the top of the order.
Yeah, I can understand maybe why you keep her in for Langford, because Langford is a very plate disciplined individual, so you might as well stick with that one. But Langford ended up being unusually aggressive, and that made it 2 outs. So, I mean, I think after that, I can see that's the inflection point, I think, right here. Because on the one hand, you can definitely understand why you'd want to keep Vega in to finish it, because it's just one more at bat. It seems like Vega has the momentum here. But at the same time, you have Conway coming up, who was a batter that kind of looks due right now. I think that she's a batter maybe you'd want to give a different look, because she was 0-2 at this point, so she kind of knows what's coming. So, yeah, I'm I'm very interested to hear Coach Ballmalone's thought process on that one because I can honestly understand both of them.
No, I think you did a good job of breaking it down, the pros and the cons, right, of that decision. I think that's the thinking, and give it credit to Michigan and their power game. What is it now? They've hit 2 home runs in this ball game. They still are at the plate. Stevenson, who hit the first home run back in the second inning to face Felton. That's Miss Low for a ball.
Well, Eric, it wouldn't be a UCF softball game without a little comeback drama late.
Does it have to be every time? My blood pressure, I don't know if it can handle it.
Unfortunately, while the Knights certainly care about you in many ways, Eric, this is not one of them.
That is correct. A ball and a strike. Oh man, 1-1 to count.
But there we go, a rematch of Caitlin Felton versus Michigan.
How spooky is that, huh? That's fouled away. A ball and 2 strikes. Mm-mm-mm. 1-2 pitch. Line to right. Jaimes there. Throw to first wide. Backed up on the play by Felton. Well, that'll probably be an infield hit on that. That was kind of a no man's land. And Michigan continues the inning with a runner at first and 2 outs here, Bryson.
Mm-hmm. That's an off-script play right there.
Oh, that's a good term, off-script. Yeah, that ball is hit to like the weirdest part. It's a lot of spin on that ball. Stevenson's had herself a nice ball game. A couple of hits now for Stevenson. Now you know why I said this was a rough regional, right? Like a group of death type of regional. I mean, these teams are good. Either team of these could give Texas a game. And I know you like Eastern Illinois a lot.
I like Eastern Illinois. I don't know what Eastern Illinois is going to do. That's the thing they make me nervous. I wouldn't necessarily say I like them. It's just that they make me nervous.
Well, they got a couple of good arms.
And that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah. Felton here ahead now, 0-2 on Vellamont. He's trying to get out of the inning down only 1.
Ooh, it'll be interesting if Felton can get a chance to go up against Ellie Seiler, because this will be a rematch of the 2023 Clearwater game that Felton pitched. Seiler was the left fielder in that game.
Let's hope that's in the next inning. Not right now. 0-2 the count. Well, they keep showing what are the Michigan fans here. 0-2 the count.
Good count for Felton.
Popped up foul. Well, that's the thing, too. I think in the Vega pitch against Putz, wasn't it 2 strikes, too? They had it 2 strikes, couldn't finish her off. And then, obviously, the home run.
Michigan is a team, is a batting order of fighters, from what I've been seeing.
No, they could hit. Yeah, they could hit. And they really clicked in the Big Ten tournament. Really, even towards the end of the regular season, they hit UCLA very well. They just hadn't had consistent pitching this year until the end.
The difference between these two teams, I think, the big difference is that Michigan has the power, while UCF is much more of a run manufacturer and not a power hitter. And so by that token, Michigan can really get back into games like that.
Well, think about the play at home plate on Kotzelnick. If that's ruled safe, we have it's a 4-4 game right now. I mean, every run, man, it's just a narrow margins, right? Like a small margin of error. But again, here's another example of Vellamont fouling pitch after pitch off. And she hits a fly ball to left center field, and Simon makes the catch to end the inning. But the Wolverines score 3 runs, highlighted by the Putz 2-run homer. And we got to show JJ Putz again, because why not?
Johnny,
it's 4-3 Michigan after going to the bottom of the 6th.
Oh, don't tell me your broadcast would have done the same thing, Eric. Show a Major League Baseball player if they were in attendance, any kind of celebrity.
I wonder what was the last time JJ Putz pitched in the big leagues.
I remember that Johnny Dawkins tells us that basketball is a game of runs. Well, baseball is a game of margins and a game of decisions too. I would argue, because I think margins is really the big thing, because the decisions you make in certain margins are going to be what really decides ball games. And in this instance, this game has come down to just a couple of small decisions, whether it's the type of pitch that Isabella Vega threw that led to home runs, Coach Ball Malone's decision of who to put in the circle at any given time, for Michigan to swing at certain pitchers. It's just those small moments that have really decided this ball game, or have been deciding this ball game right now. That being said, though, the next up for UCF is going to be Beth Damon, Samantha Ray, and Coco Jaimes. Another pretty deceptive lineup right here, because Beth Damon could tie this game up like that.
All right. By the way, Bryson, check your email. Make sure that you should have an email. I just want to verify you got the email that I'm looking at. Did you get it?
No, sir, unless it's not in my Outlook email and not in my Gmail either.
All right, I'm just gonna play it safe then. I'm gonna forward it. You should have it, but
yeah, maybe it takes a second. All right, here we go. We're back. Beth Damon at the plate now.
Yeah, keep me updated there. I'm emailing people here.
2 for 2 for Beth Damon with 2 singles, but wow, Beth, first pitch swing right there. She grounds it out to third.
Reminds me of that at bat against Arizona. Reminds me of that the at bat against Arizona in the Big 12 quarterfinal game. But yeah, it's a big out for Michigan. Look, we might have a pinch hitter here for Ray. Might have a pinch hitter. All right, you should have the email now, Bryce.
I do have it. Thank you, Eric.
All right. We're talking in codes. Kendall Yarnell will be the pinch hitter. Of course, he was the one that hit the pinch hit home run against Kansas in her homecoming in that Sunday game that changed the whole complexion of that ball game. It was a go-ahead home run. So she will hit here with no one on and 1 out. And she fouls it off. So Yarnell, the young freshman, with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. I'm a little surprised that she's hitting in this spot, but then again, it is late in the ball game. But and plus, I mean, you do the top of the order. You're hoping we'll probably get a chance to hit in the bottom and half of the 7th at minimum. And so we'll see what that takes place. Right now, Yarnell.
Well,
it's Yarnell a base hit, Yarnell. Pinch hitter.
That's what you want. What position does Yarnell normally play defensively again?
This year she's been mostly a DP. She's been more of a weapon off the bench. When she started at DP.
Would Bob Malone allow to pinch hit her again later?
No, that's it. I mean, that's the time you pinch hit her. So that's it.
Interesting. Okay. So
they and now she will be. I'm assuming Ray will re-enter here to run. So she got the job done. She got a base hit. But yeah, no, she used her weapon here in the 6th inning. And I think part of that is you've got Jaimez and Simon coming up, and then the top of the order. So I think she figures you're not going to use her to pinch hit for any of the hitters at the top of the order. The only other hitter you would consider pinch hitting her for maybe is Simon. But she decided to make the move. Probably didn't like Ray's at-bats earlier. And so now Jaimez with 1 on, 1 out here in the 6th.
I actually think I can understand the motive behind that now. I can understand the motive here, because if you are able to get runs on the board and maybe even get ahead, then all you have to do is get through the pitcher. So might as well get Yarnell done now, so that way you can try to end the game as soon as possible and not have to get the runners back up again.
And Coco Jaimez delivers again with a single to left center. She's 3 for 3. Ever since you called her out.
Man.
Should have called her out earlier in the year.
Man, what a game for Coco Jaimez.
Best game of her career.
From an offensive standpoint, absolutely.
This is more of what they expected from her.
This is Coco's first 3-hit game of the season. Only her second multi-hit game. This was her first one was the game 3 against Kansas. That was her first multi-hit game of the season. And in fact, that was the last game that she even got a hit in before today.
Simon up the middle. Oh, it's right to short for 1 to throw to first in time. Double play. Oh, the one you didn't want to happen. A double play, a 6-3 double play turn as Simon hits into one. We'll see if they review it, but it looked like an out.
If it is out, it's really close. Or if it is, yeah, if it is, Ball Malone's probably going to demand that.
You have to. Fantucci making the play at shortstop. Hit the ball up the middle right to her, touched the bag at second, and then threw to first to edge out Simon. They're going to review it. You had first and second and 1 out, Bryson. And again, the call was an out at first base. We'll see if Simon beats it out. And ball's on the glove. What do you think, Bryson? I'm too old to look.
That's out.
Yeah,
that's out.
Yeah.
Barely out. Oh, man. That is not great.
Well, because you had that momentum going. And that was the one thing you didn't want to run into there. It was a decent handling. This will be a quick review. They're going to stay with the call. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, that, look, I can totally see why Ball Malone was good. I mean, from a contact standpoint, this UCF team was hot this at-bat, but unfortunately, they just got lucky with the double play.
Just hit it in the wrong spot in the wrong spot, and just hit it to the wrong part.
Man.
Well, if there's any good news or any grace, is that the top of the order will hit for the Knights and the bottom of the 7th. The problem is there's down 1, and Felton's got to come in and keep it a 1-run game. But boy, last couple of innings, boy, some runners left on base, Bryson. I don't know what the total number is up to right now, but
it would not be a UCF softball game if it weren't this dramatic. Because if there is anybody for UCF softball that you want to have going to bat with,
but they got to keep it a 1-run game. You got to keep it a 1-run game, so you can't get caught ahead. You got to keep it a 1-run game here, going to the bottom of the 7th, and they are the designated home team, so they will get a chance to hit. But and again, I thought they've had some good swings today. It's not like you know what I mean. Like I don't feel like the Michigan pitchers have been dominant. They just have hit it right at people. And you got to tip your cap to Avery Fantucci making the play there at shortstop. But I think you go back to the previous inning, you had the bases loaded, you got a 2 runs in that inning, but boy, you wonder, could you have gotten more? But hey, man, it's why you play the games. That's what makes these regionals fun. And keep in mind, Michigan, a lot of these players have played in regionals, going back to last year when they were in the Stillwater Regional. So I think Michigan has an edge from an experience standpoint. They've been in these type of regionals. Having gone to it, most of these players last year after missing it 2 years ago. But nonetheless, it's been a good game. It's been an even game what we expected. A little back and forth.
Absolutely. Update out of Kansas, by the way. Natalia Madison ended up finishing near the rear of the pack in the 800 meter, the last event of the heptathlon. She falls back to 6th place in the event. So Natalia Madison gets UCF track and field underway in the Big 12 Outdoor Championship with a 6th place finish in the heptathlon. Not the most amount of points you can get, but she does bring home some points for your team in that one. I believe the top 10 or top 9 or something like that bring home points. So little something to start off for UCF in that department there. And Felton right away, a ground ball to second. Coco held on to it for a little, kept a hold of it a little longer than I thought she would, probably to make sure she doesn't throw it away. But the throw does beat the runner. 1 out right away. That is what you want if you're the Knights.
Yep. You sure do.
Here comes Erickson, 0-2. Different pitcher, though. Wow, another quick ground out. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Once again, Michigan aggressive right here. Wow. Really interesting with this Michigan group right here to be this aggressive. I mean, you think you'd want to try to get some insurance runs on the board here because technically UCF offense had the momentum too.
Sure did.
Because if you get him back now, there we go. Ball. There's some plate discipline right there. Maddie Ramey, 1-2. A single and a run today.
Top of the order will hit for the Knights here. The bottom of the 7th. The question will be what the score will be.
Another ball right there.
You know what? I made a mistake today. I didn't eat anything before this game.
Can't relate there, Eric. I made sure that
I completely forgot. I was taking care of some other obligations and completely forgot. I had a Big 12 radio hit this morning and had to do some family stuff. Some family stuff going on that I have to attend to, and we'll have to attend to whenever this season ends. But I forgot to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, when I'm broadcasting on the air, there's not affect me. But
ball was swung on, and the last one went foul, so it's 2-2. Popped up, foul again. I'm telling you what, as aggressive as this Michigan team has been today, they've also been fighters as well because that's
a good team. Listen, they're the Big Ten champions. They're a very good team, Big Ten champions for a reason. This has been about what I thought it would be, a nail biter back and forth. Did that hit her? They're going to say hit the barrel or they hit the part of the bat. Yeah, hit the part of the bat. Right in the knob area.
Yeah, I can see that.
So the count is 2-2. That is hit up the middle. Evans is there. We'll throw to first in time to retire the side. So Felton does her part, works a 1-2-3-7. But the Knights are down to the last at bat here, trailing 4-3. Evans, Humphreys, and then Kittleman's the scheduled hitter, although I expect Stormy to re-enter and hit in that spot when we come back here at the bottom of the 7th. What I don't know, Bryson, by the way, for postgame, is I don't know if Michigan will be first or not. Do you have the Michigan link, or do you need that as well? So I can forward you that as well.
I have the UCF one.
Okay. I'm going to forward you the Michigan one as well then.
Just the UCF track and field Twitter X account just updated. Natalia Madison will get 3 points from her 6th place finish in the heptathlon to start things off for the UCF track and field team in Kansas. So the Knights are on the board there in Lawrence. We'll more than likely be off the air by the time this happens, but the next event that the Knights will be in for there is the long jump with Haley Manners in that event for UCF. Shout out to Manners. She came back from an injury that kept her out all of last season, transferred from Central Michigan. I got a chance to interview her after the Knights invite, which you can find here on the Night Shift YouTube channel. Got to talk to her all about that. Yes, sir, Alex. Alex says, shout out D25. Haley was a member of the DeVos Sport Business Management class that both Alex and I were a part of. We are back. The broadcast is coming back now, and Michigan has a new pitcher, I think. No, it's not. No, it's not. I was
same pitcher. Same pitcher.
They still got Aaron. I think they were just showing Reagan. I thought that they showed maybe Reagan Bennett somewhere because I saw 19.
Aubrey Evans takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. Evans has a double and scored. That came in the first inning. She'll be followed by Humphreys and then probably Kotzelnick, and Evans pops it up in the infield, and Aaron Horn makes the catch for the first out. Big first out in the bottom of the 7th.
Might need I think they were probably showing the bullpen there when they were showing Bennett. Wouldn't be surprised to have her going just in case something happens here. That's a huge out to get right there because Aubrey, I would argue, is the biggest home run threat of the next few.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a big out. Big out. So now you got Humphreys with 1-0 count. You're in the bottom of the 7th. If UCF loses this game, they'll take on the loser of Texas Eastern Illinois in the elimination game at 3:30 tomorrow. And they'll have to win 2 games tomorrow to get to a regional final because they would have to beat Eastern, assuming it's Eastern Illinois. Let's just say they'll have to play that game, and then they'll have to play the 6:00 game against the loser of the winner's bracket game. If UCF comes back to win, they would play in the winner's bracket game at 1:00. So there's still ways to get to a regional final. This is not the end of the tournament if you lose this game. It just makes the track a little longer, Bryson.
Absolutely. That being said, though, again, this is a young team. So you have to wonder what this will do for a team's mentality going into an elimination game.
Well, they've been here before, but they've also been here before, down in the 7th inning, down by a run. You know that as well as anybody.
Yep.
So 3 balls and a strike to Humphreys. And Humphreys lines it to left, and that will drop for a hit. So a 1-out single for Humphreys. And the Knights get a runner on the single by Humphreys.
This is this is going to be a really huge at-bat for Stormy Kotzelnick right here, because you have the double play threat that is there that would end the ball game. But if Kotzelnick is able to get on base in any way, then that brings up Ashley Griffin. And we've seen what she can do in clutch situations when she is put in them.
So Kotzelnick takes a strike. Remember, Kotzelnick walked in her last at-bat.
Strike one right there for Kotzelnick.
The 0-1 to Stormy. Just missed up high, 1-1. Went off speed there.
Man,
Humphreys is your leader stolen. Yeah, she was trying to hold it there.
That catcher was holding it right there at the top. She is trying to get that strike call.
And a swing and a miss, and Kotzelnick down a ball and 2 strikes.
Swing and a miss. P. Maximus says, I'm nervous. Yeah, you and me both, buddy.
You and me, ditto. Can I co-sign that? That is missed for a ball, 2-2.
Really good discipline out of Kotzelnick. That is years of experience showing right there.
And she hits a fly ball to left, but playable. Seiler is there, makes the catch. And there are 2 outs. Wolverines an out away from advancing to the winner's bracket game, while the Knights an out away from going to the loser's bracket tomorrow. That'll be a 3:30 game.
But look who's in the batter's box, Eric. It's Ashley Griffin.
There we go.
I'm not counting anything out right now. I mean, we'll be down to the last strike, and I'm not counting anybody out yet.
That's what she says. Always play to the last strike. She walked and drove in a run in the 5th inning. Takes ball 1. 1-0 the count.
That was the bases loaded walk. That's right. This at-bat to me, maybe it's just my optimism talking, but it feels a little bit like the Conway at-bat that Michigan had earlier, where, you know, this is a batter that feels like is due. For what I'm not sure, but it's something. 2-0 though, a hitter's count.
Oh, that hit her. It hit her. So it is first and second, 2 outs.
Wow.
Hit her. They didn't look comfortable facing Griffin. And it's going to be up to the freshman Izzy Mertez to the plate with 2 on, 2 out.
Another threat right here. Again, like homers are I've said it before. Homers are guaranteed runs. If you hit the ball and it is in the field, there's always a chance that there's an out. But with Izzy coming up here, this is another chance for a homer right here for these Knights, because she has.
Yeah, you don't need a home run here.
You
do not need a home run. A base hit here could tie the game with the runner.
But just a powerful bat, even like you still need a powerful bat to get out there.
And Mertez does provide that. And again, a ball down the line with 2 outs, runners will be going. So, woo! Here we go. So right now, are they discussing? Yeah, are they going to review this with her hitter?
I would.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. My only issue is, why did it take so long to just decide, hey, let's review it? Let's just, if you're going to review it, go for it. Why are you talking? What do you think, Bryson? You got nice glasses there. You tell me if it hits. Does it hit Griffin in the elbow?
I am not sure.
Remember, the call was a hit by pitch.
I mean, if it's close, if it did hit her, it barely grazed her.
And we'll see if it's conclusive or not.
I mean, I don't think it's conclusive personally.
You would stay with the call?
I would.
Yeah. If the call stands, it'll be first and second, 2 outs with Mertez to the plate with the game on the line. If they overturn it, it'll be probably a 3-0 count to Griffin with a runner at first.
Still a hitter's count for sure, but man, that is you got to think about the momentum though.
Yeah. All right, the review is over.
Elijah Walters comments, UCF likes to try and get hit like they did in against Auburn at FAU. Call upheld.
Yeah, they helped upheld it. Oh, thanks for tuning in, Elijah. Here we go. And they're going to make a pitching change. So that's interesting. So what Michigan did, what Bonnie Toll did was she convinced the umpires to review it because it's at the umpire's discretion after the 5th inning, knowing in the back of her mind that she was going to make a pitching change. So it actually bought her some time. That's actually a very strategic move by Bonnie there.
And now we have Durkowski coming back.
Yeah, re-enters the game, who started the ball game, went 4 innings, and will come in to face Mertez. So she's going to her senior horse, Durkowski, here to try to close it out and get the Wolverines into the winner's bracket game. And I think she figures she likes this matchup against Mertez. But that's what that was. She convinced the umpires to review the play while in the same time Durkowski was warming up, and it got her a few extra minutes. And kill some of the UCF momentum too, Bryce.
Yes, Durkowski pitching in the 5th, or was that?
They took her out in the 5th inning. They took her out during the 5th inning. I don't think she recorded an out in the 5th, but she did start the 5th inning, which is weird because I think by the box score here, she would started this game and might be in line for the save. Doesn't get the win, but might get the save if she closes this out. How weird is that? Only in softball, everybody.
This is a smart move there, I think, from Coach Toll because Izzy Mertez got her hit earlier this game. It was under Aaron Hone. Correct.
I think that's a big part of this. Yeah, absolutely. And
So Izzy's first 2 at bats, she flew out to center and then grounded out at shortstop, and this was with Durkowski in the circle.
And Durkowski starts her off with a strike, off speed, 0-1 the count.
So really, I mean, in reality, Izzy is technically 0 for 2 at least in this.
Well, and that's why I think, and that's why they made the pitching change. I think they like this matchup better if you're Michigan. And that's the pitch that's giving Mertez problems. She swings and misses there, and she's down to their last strike, 0-2 the count.
Yeah, man, that is a great what a dichotomy of coaching decisions right there.
The 0-2. Got her. And Michigan wins. They hold on to win it 4-3. Durkowski strikes out Mertez. 7th comeback win of the season for the Wolverines as they come back from a 3-1 deficit in the 6th inning to knock off this young Knights team. And Durkowski closes the door on the Knights' threat. Knights straying 2 there at the end. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Michigan. 3 runs, 10 hits, no errors for UCF. The Knights will now play in the elimination game at 3:30 on Saturday-ish, while Michigan will play in the winner's bracket game at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And now the Knights, Bryson, will have to win twice on Saturday to keep their season going. They'll have to win that elimination game against the loser of Texas and Eastern Illinois. And then if they win that game, they would play again at 6 o'clock against the loser of the winner's bracket game between Michigan and whoever wins the Texas Eastern Michigan. A lot of runners left on base for UCF there. Perhaps a little inexperience there by Mertez at the end, but give credit to Michigan. They made the plays at the end. Well-played game by both sides. Your final thoughts here before we call it a day.
That runners left on base is going to be a very key stat there. 8 for UCF, just 1 for Michigan. Michigan's 2 home runs really coming in handy right there. It's just UCF was not able to get more runs across to complete a deficit, to overcome the deficit at the end. Yeah, it's all about the little decisions at the margins, and that's ultimately, I think, what decided this game.
Oh, yeah. No, that's all valid. That is UCF's, by the way, first loss on a Friday regional game since I'm looking this up. 2014. First loss on a Friday regional when UCF lost to Stetson, blew a lead late in Gainesville Regional. They lost that game. The good news is they came back and got to the regional final that year. Since then, the Knights have won the opening game of the regionals. They beat FAU in 2016 in Gainesville. They beat Auburn in 2021 in the famous double play to finish the game. They won the regional opener against Villanova at home in 2022. They beat South Carolina on Friday night in the Tallahassee regional in 23. And then they came from behind to beat Auburn last year in the shootout. So that streak comes to an end. But again, the good news is you got time to regroup and you got the arms and you're just going to play. You got to play a doubleheader. You hope you play a doubleheader tomorrow on that. All right. We hope thanks to everybody who tuned in. There will be no live stream tomorrow. No watch along. Bryson's got baseball tomorrow. Sorry. That's just the way it goes. And we lost this game, which means I will not do a watch along again. But nonetheless, despite the result, hopefully everybody had fun. And if nothing else, Bryson kept me calm. And we're going to go cover the post-game pressers. We hope to have post-game pressers on our YouTube channel. It depends on the quality of the post-game Zoom. I don't know what we're walking into. And we'll be keeping coverage throughout the weekend on Black and Gold Banneretta on night shift for UCF here in the Austin Regional. And then obviously I'll be doing some work as well on D1 softball throughout the weekend covering the other regionals. So Bryson, last thoughts.
Just a tough loss for this Knights team to take. It came down to the minor decisions, and I think that this shows why the committee put these two together in the first place, because it produced a really good game of softball to watch here. But, you know, hey, it wouldn't be this UCF softball team without them needing to come back in some fashion. So this feels pretty on brand for this team.
All right, we got to go post-game pressers here. For Bryson Turner, thanks to Kamal Woodall for joining us from Austin. That was fun. That was my highlight. I'm Eric Lopez. Final score, Michigan 4 and UCF 3. UCF will play at 3:30 on Saturday in an elimination game against the loser of Texas and Eastern Illinois. I'll tweet it out on Eric Lopez Elo. Stay tuned for more coverage of UCF athletics. Bryson will be at baseball here in about 2 hours. He'll be tweeting from there in a must-win situation for UCF baseball. Until then, we'll say so long. We'll talk to you soon. This has been a night shift watch-along of the UCF Softball Regionals in Austin.